The Nigeria Police Force has suspended nationwide enforcement of the tinted glass permit policy following an interim court order. And the policy was earlier scheduled to take effect on the 2nd of January 2026 after an announcement by the police citing security concerns. In a statement signed by the Force PRO, Benjamin Hundeyin, police authorities confirmed they were served with a court order restraining enforcement pending the hearing of a substantive suit. The force has entered appearance in court, filed objections, and applied for the order to be vacated, with the case adjourned to January 20th, 2026. To discuss more on this, we're joined by a public affairs analyst and a lawyer, Sam Akpologun. Sam, thank you for joining us in compliments of a season. Now, I'd just like to start by asking, what are the main legal arguments that have led to the repeated suspension of the tinted glass permit policy, and why has it been that they have been at loggerhead, the law enforcement and the court?
Thanks for having me. I'm glad for the opportunity. Actually, there have been various arguments in this regard. The arguments have been that the implementation of the tinted glass permit is an affront to the constitutional provision, one of the freedom of movement and of persons, and freedom of the right to freedom of privacy, and also that the police does not have the power to state or to exert the authority of determining funds that should be paid. That is to say, the police cannot fix taxes or penalties, so to speak. The police implement law and not to recommend or to state the law, or for that matter. So these are the arguments around the issues of implementation of the tinted glass permit enforcement and all of those matters. So it left to be saying what the court will be saying about this matter that are already before the court.
So how do we balance the police stated security objectives with citizens' personal liberties in their policy?
Now, we must understand this, that the citizens' personal liberty is constitutionally guaranteed, and that must be that must take an overwhelming precedence. The police position is that, well, there is a law, which is a decree for that matter. There is a law granting them or giving them the authority to implement the policy with respect to tinted glass permit. But we must understand that the argument that issue of tinted glass permit is about have to do with security is obtuse. If you look at the foundation and the beginning of that law, it was not so much for security purpose. The law is a one-pager. That's the decree. It's a one-pager. I think it's about 4 sections. It has to do with limiting the use of tinted glasses to a group of people. 1, people that have health issues like albinos, and 2, people who are specially privileged, like government agencies, government officials, and so on and so forth. That was the essence of the law, because then we were in a military government where some persons are equal, but others are more equal than the others. But we have since left that state. It was not so much for security, because come to think about it, the law is not addressing security. The law is not saying don't use tinted glass. What the police is doing now, don't say don't use tinted glass. They are saying come and pay and then use your tinted glass. So anybody can pay. An armed robber can pay, what they call a kidnapper can pay. Once you have paid your 20-something thousand naira, you can go with your tinted glass permit. All that the police is asking for, show me that you have paid. How does that enforce security? How does that ensure security? You cannot tell me that it is to gather the data of the citizens and to know who actually is using tinted glass permit. We already have too many platforms for the security information of individuals in the society. And today Nigerians are even asking themselves, why do we have this paraphernalia of data convergence? We have the NIN has all our data, we have the BDN has all our data. Every time you're going for any place, you have the police your driver's license, have all our data. What are you collecting data for in the name of tinted glass permit? So all of those arguments are obtuse. I don't think that law itself is a backward-facing law and should be confined to the vehicle of historical oblivion. Thank you.
So before we let you go, what message does the repeated delay and court intervention send about the enforcement of controversial policies in Nigeria? And it feels as though the Constitution and law enforcement are always at loggerheads. Why do we keep having a repeat of that?
First and foremost, that law was not made to operate in a democratic setting. It's a military decree. In fact, if you read some section of that law, I think section 2 or 3, section 3 of that law, it says that that law, the provisions of that law will take precedence over the Constitution because it was intended to be a military decree. Such laws should not be existing in a present day Nigeria, and I hope that the court end up, confining that law to issue. Now, the position is this: is that the repeated delay, suspension, and so on just tells us that that law has no place in the present day Nigeria. It is weakening the trust of Nigerians on the integrity of the police. Today, Nigerians are saying that the police are just interested in the money that comes from that law. So it is best that that law is simply set aside. It flies in the face of the Constitution. It is disrespect the law, the rights of Nigerians. Don't tell me that the law has something to do with security. Yes, in Senate clients, I think we should, let me just make this recommendation before I leave. In Senate clients, the laws generally, as regards tinted glass permit, are made for specific reasons. They are not made to give money to the security agencies. For example, in the UK, once your glass goes beyond 30% of the visible light transmission, you are then required to, you are meant to pay. It is that payment is automatically detected by the particular device that the security agency has, and you know what you're paying, and you know why you're paying for that, because it is meant, you see that law is meant for safety. But the one we have here is at the discretion of the IGP or the policeman, who will not know what is the level of the tint of your car. But as long as your car is tinted, you have to pay for this purpose. So I think that law should either be improved on to reflect what we have in the United Kingdom or the United States, or another similar place, or the law should simply be abrogated. Otherwise, we'll keep on having clash with the Constitution. I would rather that the court does what it takes the initiative and then is bold enough to do the needful and declare the law contrary to the provision of the Constitution, and to the extent of its being contrary, declared void.
All right, Sam Akpologun, lawyer and public affairs analyst, thank you so much for your time with us on the news. And we look forward to seeing how this pans out, because right now Nigerians are confused whether or not to go ahead to start surrendering their tinted permit, but we'll see how that turns out.